Chris Hemsworth was an actor who was known for training extensively for his portrayal of Thor in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and was known for having a chiseled and sculpted physique. But as he gained fame for being Thor in the Marvel Studios productions, naturally questions arose and even concerns emerged as to how realistic it could have been for men to attain that tier of physical likeness. But the speculative scenario is this: Chris Hemsworth was too muscular in Thor: Love and Thunder. Prior to becoming Thor, Chris Hemsworth only had an average build for a man of his age and genetic background, and moderately exercised. Nothing in terms of what the actor later did for fitness on the regimens that he became known for. One of the requirements to portray Thor was for the Australian actor to become more physically pronounced, which he did. But even through early depictions of Thor in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, his muscles wasn't anything too extreme, but was still equally impressive. However, as he became more of an internationally accredited actor through the experience presented by the Marvel Cinematic Universe, he had to systematically become more and more defined with his build. Later on, he became known for his training routines and his devotion to fitness, something that would become a crucial part of his persona with acting, as well as the roles he took for any particular film outside of Marvel movies of the time. Australian and American media later speculated that Chris Hemsworth had no choice but to continue the likeness as presented in Thor. Despite Chris Hemsworth's role as Thor in the Marvel Cinematic Universe on the importance as well as revenue with the Thor films, receptions to the films were average, but the successor Thor Ragnarok brought a renewed focus to the character from casual audiences to readers of Thor comics and to fans of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We're all re-evaluating him as Thor. Chris Hemsworth later commented that he was under a phenomenal amount of mental stress and natural physical strain, as opinions of him at the time had it that he needed to be physically bigger than he had ever been before due to the renewed interest with the Thor franchise. Through a combination of the COVID-19 pandemic and lockdowns throughout Australia at the time, on his own emphasis with strength, he became bigger and more muscular than any other time previously in his life. But from information now known, sentiment from those close to Chris Hemsworth thought it was too much, and sources mentioned that he didn't look natural. While men he knew applauded his devotion to training, women he knew thought it was too much and even wrong. This opinion had also spread to those who had seen Chris Hemsworth on the set of Love and Thunder, as there was always an opinion that Chris Hemsworth had used steroids in some way with his training. But after Love and Thunder, the sentiment of such opinions had become more vocal and clearly obvious due to the massive increase in muscle and body density when in comparison to prior movies. Even opinions from audiences who had seen the movie believed that Chris Hemsworth had become too muscular when in comparison to previous examples of strength by Chris Hemsworth or even fictional portrayals of Thor from Marvel Comics. As once the movie was completed, on reactions to the film as well as Chris Hemsworth were negative. With everything considered, he swore to never become that muscular ever again for any acting-based role.